What up, stoners? It's your boy, Miggy420. Thanks for joining us here at Cannabis Legalization News. Say that 20 times backwards. Tom's going to be a little late. It's his mom's birthday. But hey, you got me, the layman lawyer. And by the way, please stop sending emails now. We're good on the seed me thing. I mean, I appreciate hellos and, you know, how you're doing and happy birthdays. But I'm done. I got like 50 emails and 20 of them from like one crazy person. Or you may not be crazy. Maybe you're just perfectly normal. Just don't know how to type right. Anyways, let's go into our first story here. It is from Normal. Analysts, most hemp-derived intoxicating products sold online contain synthetically produced cannabinoids. Hell yeah. Appreciate it. So, you know, as Tom and I have been talking, even before the Farm Bill, like this hemp derived CBD. First, it started with CBD. I blame CBD, but you know, scientists learn how to make how to benefit themselves in this sketchy market, right? Like, go ahead and just stop showing. There we go, perfect. You can read the notes now. But like, and I'm not mad at people who learn to break the rules. But let's get some of the talking points here. Many of the lab-made cannabinoids found in our analysis are far more potent than natural delta-9 THC, meaning a product's psychoactive effects may be dramatically understated if potency is assessed solely by the delta-9 THC content, right? Like, you are consuming a non-natural product at this point. You are eating the cheeseburger, smoking the cheeseburger weed, right? Like, let's not be surprised that you are not having the same, but again, it's going to be an intoxicating effect, right? Because none of this is, I guess, natural, but your body does have cannabinoids. Your body does have an endocannabinoid system, which is, you know, it doesn't have a meth system. You know, it absorbs and appreciates all these things. Another talking point comes novel and unknown isomers associated with chemically synthesized cannabinoids like delta-8 THC may present significant risks due to their unpredictable chemical and physical properties. This is where the hemp people are, you know, the cheat code. They're getting their delta-8, this non-naturally grown cannabis. They're stressing it, and then they're making their gummy products, their infusedness. Next point is to restore order to the market, and this is clearly we just need to get rid of this high hemp thing, right? If people want to say like, come to our store, have our edibles, you know, it makes you high. Well, you're fucking trying to sell weed. That's what you're trying to do. You're not, you know, you're working with a loophole. And you, the consumer, are losing in this whole situation because you are not getting the true, like, cannabis experience, right? You're not getting this full grown, like, healthier experience, in my opinion. Right on. Appreciate you, Ron. Appreciate you coming in. Got 83 people. Sorry you didn't get the lawyer all alone today. I mean, this is why I've been fucking with this guy for so many years, because I really do appreciate that constitutional perspective, right? Like, I used to joke that all stoners are kind of like lawyers, and Tom hates that. But it's true, though, right? Because in the end, nobody who consumes this plant wants to go to jail. We all just want to, like, live our lives normally. But to do that, you gotta know the fucking rules. You gotta know that if you get hurt at work and take a piss test, that don't say shit. You just don't. I didn't get hurt, right? For some reason, I haven't gotten hurt in 30 years. So in our next story, it's a Maine farm using hemp to help clean up forever chemicals. So this is what hemp is used for. Hemp can help remediate the earth. If you didn't know, hemp naturally will take out the toxics. Even some radiation remediation has been done with this plant. This is what hemp is used for. This is what hemp hooray is about. Hemp is supposed to heal the planet, not give you a good Friday night. But look, I get it. It is medicine for many right now. But you, the consumer who's experiencing this loophole satisfaction, needs to step up and not protect the hemp, but point out that you're getting essentially cannabis and say, look, I've been sourcing my product since 2018, the Farm Bill, right? Like, you got to change the conversation and not protect what's presently the 2018 Farm Bill loophole, because that's not going to happen. Eventually, these markets are going to restructure. So some key notes from the story are: hemp is this unique ability to absorb contaminants from the soil, making it an effective tool in the fight against PFASs, which are forever chemicals, if you didn't know. It's polyfluoroalkyl substances, also known as forever chemicals. Next note, by integrating hemp into our remediation efforts, we're not only cleaning the soil, but also exploring, that's just the notes from me. Here's the actual article from the 5. All good, dude, all good. But let me just keep reading these notes here because pull that out. Thank you, man. So another one, this approach offers promising pathway for other farms, similar contamination challenges. And again, hemp is supposed to be not your Friday night. Hemp is just this, it can be a t-shirt. It could be petrol. It can be vitamins, right? It can be food seeds for birds. There are so many things hemp is, but it's not it shouldn't be your medicine. But unfortunately for many, that's the only option they have. And I really wish that wasn't the case, right? Like, you needed a wellness option. This is the importance of legalization. This is the importance of you speaking up. If you're fucking buying this $1 billion hemp industry, well, now's your time to like speak up and create that change. But until that, we're gonna have stuff like Chicago chefs attempt world largest cannabis infused pizza for Pi Day. So coming out of the 5 Chicago, a collaboration between Chicago Pizza Shop and a dispensary aims high for this year's Pi Day celebrations. The dispensary is social equity. What is it? Pizza Parlor Polly G's is teaming up with Ivy Hall, Chicago's first social equity dispensary. That's pretty dope. I mean, if you're gonna do something, that's pretty fucking dope. Let's see what we got at talking points from that bad boy. I mean, what are you gonna say? You just made a huge ass fucking infused pizza. And I hope your Sunday's going well. I hope you're having a great afternoon. What y'all smoking on? I got the chat over here, and I'm reading the articles over here, and I got no Tom. And I appreciate you for joining us here at Cannabis Legalization News. Thank you, man. Yeah, so this cannabis and pizza are the perfect pairing to bring together people and build community through shared experiences. Community. Building the world's largest infused pizza has been a labor of love. I invite other customers over 21 to make their way to Ivy Hall, Logan Square to grab a slice. That's pretty dope. I wonder if they're free. That would be fucking amazing. So in our next story, we need a little bumper. We need our Reefer Madness bumper on this one. You got it, homie, or you want me to kick it? Coming from Newsweek, this is the most disappointing part of it. This is what I think this new administration is enabling, right? It's easier to like fearmonger and stick to like the bullshit of we need more studies, or where we have this such an existing gray market with hemp and people knowing it's medicine now. And what's happening? Are planes falling in the sky because of you consuming? No. But coming out of Newsweek, their top article, America's marijuana legalization experiment is going up in smoke. Screw you and your bad fucking titles. So when marijuana legalization first started, gaining momentum in the United States, this is coming from Newsweek. Let me pull you up the highlights here. Discussing talking points. Here's some key quotes. The rapid pace of cannabis legalization in North America has provoked a backlash that is predictable and discouraging. I don't get with these fucking random statements like backlash what? Predictable, discouraging, how? As we move into a new era of cannabis policy, let's learn from mistakes from the past. What fucking mistakes? It's time to replace fear-mongering with facts, propaganda with peer-reviewed research, and prohibition, sensible regulation. I mean, this whole time has been like bad regulation already, so I don't get this expectation. What the fuck are you talking about, buddy? Marijuana causes psychosis. Psychosis causes violence. The obvious implication is that marijuana causes violence. These are actual quotes, man. Here are the talking points. Analyze the resurgence of alarmist narratives in the media coverage of cannabis. This is what I'm talking about with this new administration enabling this fear factor. It's up to you to speak up. Excuse me. It's up to you. Like this is the extent of my reach, and this is what this is why people fuck with me, I guess, for the most part, right? Like this is why Tom and I like he does the law side. I've just been doing the advocacy side, trying to champion for people who have been subjugated to a bad law, and that's what we have right now. Still do, like even the recreational states, until we get federal level playing field. We're going to have so many divided little stories and fear mongering from like Newsweek. You know, what's next? Time magazine. It's an experiment, they say. You know, it's 2025. Washington State legalized it in 2012. It's been 13 years. That's back when my hair was brown and fucking my knees didn't hurt. Like, what are these people like talking about? What the fuck are we doing here? But again, people want to like make excuses for not causing real progress for society. You know, whatever. And then here's another setback one. Like, we have some of the dumbest people with products, right? Like, what was the cannabis lean that came out? Like, can we just stop trying to stretch this like to dumb shit? Though I do have, maybe there is something possibly usable on this one. So the next story is from the San Francisco Gate. California startup is selling injectable cannabis. The FDA isn't happy. So at first I was like, ooh, you know, needles, bad. But it did occur to me, like, there's people who take insulin, and perhaps there is people who this could benefit that are like insulin type scenarios. But yeah, so somebody thought, hey man, let's make some injectable fucking weed, right? So injectable products are delivered directly into the body and therefore bypass some of the body's key defenses against toxins and microorganisms that can lead to serious and life-threatening conditions. See, and again, there are people who do diabetes shots, insulin shots, right? There's quick ways of what do you call it, administration. So possibly it's going to be a good thing for some people, but it is weird, right? So we are confident in the safety profile of our product and are working diligently to provide the FDA with the necessary information to resolve their concerns. Next one would be cannabis products are also at a higher risk of being contaminated with heavy metals and pesticides. But if you're coming, this is what the whole purpose of regulation is, right? Like, even though it sounds icky, you know, shooting up weed, it possibly could benefit somebody. I don't do suppositories, and people like those, right? Like, I mean, that's a thing. And if you don't know what a suppository is, look it up. I mean, seriously, look it up. But this could benefit somebody. I don't know, but that's the whole point of having a regulated market. So, like, if these guys weren't manufacturing with the dirty needles, perhaps, or bad storing SOPs and whatnot, like, that would be found out. So sometimes the FDA does overreach, obviously, but other times you got to consider, like, what is the purpose of regulation, right? Like, the whole purpose is to have safe products, and if something messed up happens, then you have recalls, and then also I will have legal action if I discover something with this product. I can go to that facility, discovery. There's things you can do that you can't do in an illicit market, except just show up with a baseball bat and handle business. That's kind of like the difference of regulation and non-regulation, right? This next one I'm going to skip because Tom really want to talk about that one. That'd be a good one. So I got this little banking one coming in, which I find really interesting because this is like the battle of the MSOs. So we have a suit against cannabis giant Trulieve underscores cashless ATM risk and need for banking reforms. So if you're not familiar with this lawsuit, Trulieve is being sued by Catalyst, and Catalyst is a big California brand. I believe this is the lawsuit. Who knows, man? These guys are sued so many times. Shit, never mind. I was totally wrong. This is a different one. Let me get to the talking points before I talk out my ass. 3 minutes, it's 420. Are you guys ready? Are you ready for 420? You better be. I got me some Mama Chan's here, some marker, magic marker. What are you smoking on? Let's see here. So yeah, lawsuit from Trulieve alleges high risk to cashless ATMs and urgent for banking reforms. The switch alleges. Oh, so this is not the Catalyst lawsuit. Oh shit. So yeah, they're being sued by Catalyst too, which I thought was funny. Yo, what up, Cream Man? Switch alleges that Trulieve defendants fraudulently masked point of sales marijuana transactions as ATM cash withdrawals. That is kind of shady. Knowing the card payment network providers like Visa have rules expressly forbidding these types of transactions because of marijuana remains federally illegal. Yeah, I mean that's just this is regulatory business, right? This is the sexy stuff about legalization, where a big company like Trulieve can be sued for baking malfeasance, which whatever, man. These guys. People worry about the MSO thing. They're already here. MSOs are already here. Big money is already here. Weed McDonald's is already here. What you need to do is find the brands that you want to help grow, right? Like Tom and I are working on the store. Mostly Tom. Shout out Tom. I mean, this has not been an easy process. And to top it off, what's going on with the Illinois hemp market and people trying to defend, and I get it. The hemp farm bill has opened a can of worms that has changed the conversation for the normies, for lack of a better word, right? People who don't consume, people who don't love 420, people who don't get a little giggle when they see that number. Probably the same people who don't giggle when they see 69. But anyways, it's just you need proper rules for that progress, to get that job protection. That's what we're needing, right? We need you to be able to just walk in the store and buy weed how you like you buy a case of beer. You just walk in like I do, show your ID, and you say, hey, can I get an ounce of that permanent marker, please? Magic marker. Then they give it to you. Hell yeah, dude. Oh, these buds are so pretty. So dense. I don't know if there's PGR or not, but I hope they're not. But it smells so good. It's that time, guys. Smoking me got him. Hell yeah. You got him, homie? All right. Thanks, Tom. Splatter Base. This is the grind. This is what you've been witnessing this whole time. Tom's little grind with the being a consultant. Now we're having a store, which we'll talk about later at the end. But there's nothing fast in any of this stuff. When you, at least when I was back in the day, sitting there in my apartment that I shared with 10 other people in 2 bedrooms, smoking that weed, and then you're like, man, because I used to flip it, right? So I'd be like, man, if I could just grow it and then sell it, then I can make real money. It doesn't work that way, man. Like, you still need to, say you start with 3 plants. You're growing 3 plants in your closet. Well, how are you fucking existing then before that, right? While you're nurturing and growing these babies. Same thing with business now. Now you're feeding the world, not just yourself. So, thanks for joining us. That's it, man. Oh, I got a little private chat going on here. Give me a second. Oh, yeah. Join this, that guy right there. Click that. That's to our newsletter. You'll find out more live updates when things happen. If anything happens in policy, boom, right there. You'll get the heads up from us. When I go live, when Tom goes live, talks about new policy. It's all right there. Hell yeah, dude. So the next story we have is the hidden potential winners of marijuana rescheduling DEA registered bulk manufacturers. I think this story hits me in the boo-boo. So I am signed up to the FDA regulatory, all their newsletters and all their announcements. So anytime somebody registers for to be a manufacturer, kind of like when someone registers to own a liquor store, you'll see in a city, whatever, registered liquor store owner. Well, these people are registering for cannabis, extractions and to be manufacturers. So I've been seeing a lot of these subscriptions or requests being made, and so somebody else has too. This Harris and Solosky from the Canada Law blog. As the cannabis industry awaits potential marijuana rescheduling, I seem focused on state legal operators and the tax relief that they might enjoy. So that's one thing. And again, we're talking about investor markets because people with real money are eyeballing these people. If you're a consumer, you don't care. You just want the store to be open and the cops to leave you the fucking alone. Right? What up, Carlos? Hola. Moving marijuana outside of Schedule 1 could be transformative for DEA registrants. That's what it is. This DEA registrants. It was, yo, Jory, always joining me. Check your spam. Yeah, check your, thanks, man. Appreciate you, homie. Check your spam folders. Look for CLN. Moving marijuana outside of Schedule 1 could be transformative for DEA registrants. No shit, Sherlock. It would acknowledge marijuana's medical efficacy, potentially allowing DEA registrants to access global medical markets. I think it's beyond that. Like, not the global market, which will definitely happen because already Australia, surprising enough, is exporting to Germany and whatnot. But the state market, the state interstate fucking market. Like, I really want to sell Washington weed in Illinois, right? And I'll have a store. That'd be great. So that, and those things will happen potentially, right? Nevada. You could definitely use anybody else's weed, but I digress. With only 8 DEA registrants, exclusive agreements could be highly profitable for both DEA registrants and the chosen few state legal operators. So I didn't realize there's only 8 real process registrants. So I've seen so far, probably at least, and even recently in my email, let me just check real quick, and then I'll let you know when to pull it up. But there was a, yeah, let me see. Because I was like, oh, I'm going to talk about this. It's related to, hell yeah, go ahead and make it big, bro. So here's what I get. I'll get these emails. You click on the link, and I'll take you to the Federal Register. Importer of controlled substance application. This one's Fisher Clinical Services. So you got your little summaries and just your standard blurbs. But here's the fun part. It tells you what the drugs are. So we got a little marijuana extract, a little marijuana, a little DMT, a little psilocybin, a little meth. So, these big companies are seeing this potential markets that could be happening. And especially the ones who, once rescheduling happens, the floodgates are open. The gas station weed will get better. Because, you buy aspirins in the gas station, right? Like, even though it'll be rescheduled to a 3, there's so many layers to the market to be created. This is the non-sexy stuff about regulation that Tom and I are always kind of like, when Tom speaks about like how we have to meet the international agreements and whatnot, right? Like, typical American, get the fuck out of here. Why do I got to meet somebody else's? But there are supposedly some ways of doing things civility-wise, and then there's this present administration. So I don't know we don't know what's going to happen this coming up year, man. Like, anything anybody says is speculation, pure and simple, man. But we got some interesting news from SciTech Daily. So this story reminds me of, if you ever see Road Trip, at the end of Road Trip, the one stoner in the episode, he's like on the cover of High Times, because you know how they do like a roundup. And it says, man, this creates a strain of weed that will get you high, but not test hot on the piss test. Scientists just found a THC-free cannabis compound that may replace opioids. We've been talking about this for years as far as how cannabis is an exit drug. They're looking at the terpenes. They're focusing on terpenes from cannabis may relieve chronic pain without THC psychoactive effect. And again, I believe in full plant. This plant, people are treating it like how Native Americans used to exist. When you take the whole bull and one part's for your clothing, the other part's for like the strings of your bow and arrow, right? So like you're dissecting these cannabinoids, this plants out of this plant, why not just let us give it a chance and just experience the whole thing at once? You know, why do we have to bastardize our experience with it? Like it's always a thing, but to me, I think it's just also more proof of the, like, how good this plant is, how it is medicine for many. So, yeah, we've been saying for years that cannabis gets you off the opioids. You know, this has been long known, fucking common knowledge. That's the word. I may or may not be a little high. On our next story, House passes bill to regulate hemp-derived products from strong bipartisan support. This is coming from Los Alamos Reporter out of New Mexico. This is coming in every state, y'all. This is why you do follow us. You do fuck with us, like, because, you know, I've been saying, like, for you consumers who Indiana, West Virginia, right? There's places where the ignorant prevail and rule, and you need to educate them so you can save and maintain your quality of life that you have now. Because you now know that why so many people champion for this plant. And, you know, as somebody who's been advocating for this plant for so long, you know, it's a constant story, you know, and it's a thing that really has helped our progress for legalization, right? Because first, Prop 215 with the AIDS epidemic, what was that, early 90s, right? And then the 2000s were like children like Charlotte's Web or Casey, who parents who had to like leave their states so they can go try this other alternative that actually helped their kid, right? And this is not like lab grown medicine. This was a plant that was grown and then they just crushed it and then took the extract and said, you know, we grew it for this purpose. And for some reason that just baffles people's mind that this plant can be a healing way, but also like it's a good Friday night. And part of that, I would say stigmas that like prevail with this plant. I'm trying to enlarge this next story. Oh shit, I'm hitting the wrong button. So the other thing that people question is public safety, right? So in the AAA research, how cannabis consumers view driving while under the influence. Hey, oh yeah, man, we appreciate you, man. You just dropped in. Yo, anybody who drops coin on us, we really appreciate you guys. I do appreciate you guys. Hell yeah. Let me get back to what I was talking about. But the AAA research, right? I mean, AAA is fucking great when it comes to. I used them. I use them. If you have kids, they're great. New research from AAA Foundation finds that the traffic study that most people who consume cannabis, 84.8%, will drive the same day. What? With more than half, 50% saying they drive like an hour or less after taking cannabis. My question is, do you do a whole article on like how people get home from the bar? You know? But anyways, I'll keep on going. With this type of impaired driving becoming more common, AAA wanted to understand what motivates people to drive after consuming cannabis. Probably getting home. And there's effective messaging that would work in preventing people from driving. And again, I talked about this last week with Tom, with like Colorado is now doing a program where Juan and James, the likes of, and other industry store owners, women, are promoting don't consume and drive. You know, I try to live in a normal world, but ideally, you know, we just don't promote that. And so the next story kind of relates to this one because I was wanting to try and tie things in here. So you got this study by AAA, right? Well, now this study is going to be used. Let's see if I can refresh. Here we go. Coming out of Wisconsin, we have a study where they reflect on the study itself. 85% of cannabis users, right? So Wisconsin authorities, it's causing them the concern. This is going to be the new reefer madness, right? This is where it's up to you to find there's other studies out there that show driving under the influence. You know, it's kind of like the question of when they say, how are we going to enforce the rules for like DUIs? Well, how the fuck are you enforcing them now? You know, I got to ask, when people ask these rhetorical questions, you got to just come direct and be like, well, how are we doing it now? Because that's how we're going to do it. I mean, we'll definitely create laws and means of testing for intoxication. But until then, it's not. People confuse cannabis intoxication to, and yes, no, you shouldn't drive. There's definitely some times I've smoked and was like, holy crap, I just want to curl up. But like, that's only been 0.001% of the times I smoked. The other 99 point, I'm fucking doing it now. I did it earlier. I've been doing it all day. With good, it's a hard experience to define what is high, right? Like Tom and I talked about this. We had a whole fucking episode on this. So, yeah, man, I don't know. So it looks like Tom's not going to be dropping it anytime soon. Let me just check the chat, see if he's in the Slack real quick. Because I will talk in the story that I was going to hold off on him for. But, vibes and time. Again.
CLN is currently dealing with technical difficulties. A wild skunk has entered the studio. Please stand by.
183 of you guys. Fuck yes, you. Thank you. Thank you for hanging out with me. I really do. We're just trying to change the world. That's all it is. We just want to make it so everybody can smoke weed and be left the fuck alone. Speaking of, so we have this news article coming from Harris Salowski. HHC added to Schedule 2 of the 1971 Convention of Psychotropic Substances. I really don't know what that fucking means. Let's find out together. So, on March 12th, during the 68th session of the Commission on Narcotics, Drugs. So this is that commission that Tom talks about all the time with the treaty that we're going to have to meet. Hexahydrocannabinol was added to Schedule 2 of the 1971 Convention on Psychotropic Substances. The CND vote follows the World Health Organization's recommendation that HHC be added into Schedule 2. The CND action, which required 36 votes, passed comfortably with 49 votes. Notably, the United States abstained. Placement of HHC in Schedule 2 mandates that all signatories of the 1971 Convention, roughly 184 countries, restrict HHC's use to only scientific, medical, and industrial purposes. Oh, ain't that a motherfucker? But what is HHC? Thank God, the next paragraph tells us. HHC is a semi-synthetic hydrogenated derivative of THC. The hydrogenation process introduces hydrogen molecules to THC, resulting in HHC sharing many of the psychoactive effects of THC. Oh, so this is like the bastardized hemp version of cannabis. So interesting. But it's interesting that we sustain too, because when Tom shared this in the Slack, I'm like, does it even fucking matter anymore? does it even matter in this administration? Because Captain Cuco Cabanas is going to do whatever he wants. But hell yeah, Tom just showed up.
Hey, what's happening?
You good, man? You straight? You good? You organized? Relaxed?
Oh, yeah, my mom's birthday was fine. And so sorry about being a little late. But
nah, man, I was trying to hold true for the troops. And again, 170 people.
170 people, like, hanging out.
Yeah, I'm saying they're like, hey, man, we'll fuck with this guy. But I'm talking about the HHC story, man. Like
the HHC story, yeah, that one's that's been scheduled too.
But like the significance of it, though, because we, the Americans, United States, abstained from that vote. So like,
yeah, that's weird.
I just like, does it even matter? and go ahead.
Well, like they didn't vote for it, so it's like, well, were they not voting for it because they consider it hemp, or were they just not voting for it because they don't care?
Exactly. That's what I was thinking, man. I was like, why do we sustain, or does it even like? I think now this administration views certain entities as unimportant, right? It's kind of like make up your own world day.
Right.
But
make up your own world day. Hey, did you already do like name that strain?
Oh shit, yes, let's go.
Oh cool, let's do that one. Yeah. THC
this one.
Yeah, it's, that one looks like it hasn't even clipped yet. You know, that one looks like it is still not yet clipped, but it looks like it's right. You know, the yellow hairs, but still.
Yeah, so I got this one from a seed website. So yeah, it's one of the girls growing. It's a cross of where we at? Oh, Jack Hare and P75 mil.
I'm not smelling Jack Hare. This is actually Willie Nelson. But yeah, I'm bummed that my vape, like my dry herb vape, was so old. How old was it? It did not have a USB-C like charger anymore, and so the charger won't plug in anymore. So I have to buy a new dry herb vape. But you know, we have little girls that run around here, and they bring all their friends over, and I'm in a pretty Republican. And they're like, oh, Republicans like weed. Then why don't they vote for it? But and so I'm in a pretty conservative neighborhood, so
yeah,
I don't like to like smoke weed when I'm at home, but I'll
vape
it or eat it. Yeah,
I love how you're like, I live in a conservative area, whereas I just be like, you live by a bunch of random assholes, because I think conservative means like people who want to like libertarian, right? Where you do your life, but like, you know, I don't want my tax dollars going to whatever, you know.
Nope. That is West Coast conservative. Like here, it's think of the children conservatism, and so like we live in think of the children conservatism area. Yeah.
This is a pretty little one. I like the website, so like I wanted to share some other.
It is the classic name that we need to translate languages from ancient history. And so that is the name of the strain. Something that we needed to translate languages from ancient history.
Hell yeah. It's a pretty little. I like all the chrome, trichromes.
Yeah, while we're doing this, I'm just going to go ahead and see if I can go ahead. We're going to see if this works. MA. And we're going to go. Hey, there's some F1s over here.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
There they go. And so, never female. That's where we have the parsley. And them's potatoes. But yeah, that's the, and then of course there's the salad in the bagel area. But it's our little.
Oh, we got it.
You got it?
Kibble net. Hell yeah.
Kibble net.
Love kibble. This one's coming from the Brothers Grimm Seeds. They have a Trailer Park Boys strain. That's why I wanted to like. Plus, and I guess like Jorge Cervantes messes with his Brothers Grimm. So, you know, I imagine they're legacy people. But
you know, shout out to Europe. IBEC, I think, was in Europe. There's not Cannabis, but like it was in Barstow. And so, if you guys were in Barstow this week, cool. I wasn't there. I was here trying to get zoned in Central Illinois and buy property. Yeah.
Well, this is an American company, which I found more impressive, right? I think it's a legacy. You know how you have like people who from Humboldt who actually like made a name for themselves or something. You know, this is just one of those guys where when you want quality, right? When it comes to like cannabis, still, if you're in, say Southern California, right? You want who's the Ganjier guy?
Ganjier. There's a few. There's quite a few of the Ganjiers that are down there. So if you're talking about like growing, it's probably Kevin Gregory. But then like Derek is, what's Derek's last name? But then there's Nicotee. Nicotee was definitely in Europe this past week for IBEC. You know, we had some people over there too, but not me.
Yeah.
Working on getting Minnesota and getting going in Pekin, Illinois.
We're getting there, baby. We're getting there. Matter of fact, that's our next story. But it is. But like with Brothers Grimm, though, there I believe like I'm just saying like there's a subculture to this plant still that if you understand like who some of these people are, guarantee they probably have fireweed, right? Like you're not even like questioning. You would hope, right? Like or at least know the difference of. I mean, there's sometimes. You know, people who just are trying to be like influencers. I mean, that's the best way to say it.
Yeah, I mean,
You
like,
know?
and then like that's the thing. The closer we get to 70,000 subscribers, the more I'm like, these influencers, they don't know the f they're talking about and all this other stuff. And it's like, don't you have a whole bunch of subscribers and you're an influencer as well? Like,
That don't count.
I'm not sitting there trying to say like this is brought to you by Base Smokes. Like,
Yeah.
here's
Oh my God.
THCA for you. But
we will.
like, no. Like, we will educate and we will advocate, and we will also try to provide people with good actionable information.
Yes.
For two things: for operations in the industry, the licensed industry, and then also for legalization in your states and how to lobby to create better states. And that was one of the things that Illinois is a little racist in the sense that
What?
yeah, in the sense that the cannabis policy, and so they think it's all owned by like wealthy white guys, and I'm like, I'm not wealthy, I'm a white guy, and no problem with that. Miggy and I and that Miggy's not white, and so first off, why do we have to talk about like what colors we are? But then it's all about how many people were arrested, and so and then there's like the legislature in Illinois, like if you're black. Okay, and then if you're not, it's like, but yeah, and so that's the thing. Like, it's the person who controls the House of Illinois will not call a vote unless he has 60 votes from his own party, so that they can completely cut out the Republicans, and then they don't know that there's actually like independent, social equity owned license holders out there. They just think it's all Trulieve and Green Thumb Industries and Cresco and Curaleaf. They don't know that it's actually like people like Miggy and I that are out there trying to get open.
Dude, now it just got real. Because like having our story be the next story, you showing up. First the fact that Tom has been grinding, and this is how it works, unfortunately. Right? Like none of this is fair. We all want to be cookies, right? Like I don't know if Tom, when you were growing up, like I always want to be like an artist, right? Like something, and then artist people will be like, oh, I don't want to sell out. But like the whole point of like being an artist,
sell out, so you're famous, you can sell your painting for like $3 million.
You know what I mean? But like, so like, but this is a harsh story that is still speculative for us because so it's here. It was local, your local WCBU.org special use approved for proposed downtown Pekin. And all you said, that's us. Yep. So like
it's Pekin.
I know, and I'm so sorry, Pekin. I apologize, Mayor, Governor, people.
Unanimous vote, and that was the thing. And so I showed up on Monday, got my agenda, and so we were on what they call the consent agenda, which means that we have done such a great job engaging the community and being what you want to be. Like this isn't selling THCA and pretending that it's hemp. This is like getting an actual license and getting a special use permit. And so much so, like, there's we actually purchased this crap as well. And so there's our little thing.
Shit.
Yeah. And so I had to go to, and I didn't have to, but like I did because it was like the right thing to do. That's what you have to do. It's about doing the right thing. And so I made sure to go to the local Chamber of Commerce and tell everybody what we want to do. And so now we just have to buy the property. And so we got an offer in, and hopefully the property gets sold to us.
And that's another caveat, hurdle thing about this whole process, right? Where you think things are locked in and not everything always seems transparent or is, right? It took a year just to get the actual license, right? The go ahead to be involved in this legal cannabis market where the hemp people, and again, I had nothing against growers. People are making their bag through a loophole, but it's an unfortunate loophole that like you should start pivoting now because the closure is coming. Whether it be now, but federally, once anything happens, rescheduling, or even with the farm bill, you should be looking. If I think the Illinois Hemp Association should be focusing on like how can they preserve, like not so much like expand, but like if you want to be hemp, go be a t-shirt, right? I mean, if you want to be CBD, but you're not going to be fire, you're not going to be that Zaza, you're not going to be the, if you're going to be medicine, that isn't there a medical market for you guys in Illinois?
It's the adult use. The adult use market's our medical market. Big cannabis and publicly traded cannabis actually is the more active suppression of our medical market because they have to report profits, and then like the MSOS and adult use cannabis is a publicly traded stock was stupid, and like you can say that you're right, but if you're early you're still wrong. They're wrong. And so doing cannabis as a publicly traded stock before it became legal was a just black hole of cash. And so like you would have lost 90% of your investment. And that's the publicly traded cannabis and hemp are two of the biggest loads on our back in this industry that is legalizing marijuana. Simply because you've created this two things. First, you've just pretended like the laws don't exist, and so you've said that I can sell, and then I'm going to do a takedown of THCA. I'm going to do a takedown of DonaldTrumpWeed.com because I'm not your lawyer, and you shouldn't be telling people that I'm your lawyer and using my videos, and you shouldn't be using Donald Trump to like sell your bullshit THCA at $800 a pound. But there's that, and then you shouldn't be like creating a publicly traded company as if you are Budweiser beer and it's legal, and you should be able to then create these markets in these states where a liquor license is fairly uniform because there's like federal legality on it. And so GTI shut down the bill that would have made all the dispensaries hybrid in Illinois because the Illinois medical cannabis people are the most profitable, and they don't want to share them. And there's only 55 dispensaries in this whole state of 12 million people that are medical, and they need that revenue. They need that revenue to beat on earnings. And because of that, they will lobby so that they can keep it, so they can continue to beat on earnings. And, what's his name? The guy, Jack Daniels' kid. And so Jack Daniels' kid, Ben, Ben, you were born on fucking third base, man. You were. And so like, I'm glad that you've done what you've done with GTI. It's you're best in class in the, publicly traded cannabis markets, but like, that's kind of like saying you're best in class and taking a shit.
Yeah. Well, you missed it earlier where, because a lot of the stories that we have this today are hemp related. And, besides the state's like, I would say freedom, but like I was saying earlier, how big weed's already here, right? The GTI, the Trulieve, people with deep pockets who were everybody's like in the early days of cannabis, like advocacy. They're like, oh man, I don't want big weed or big, Walmart weed or whatever, corporate or tobacco.
Kids. Yeah,
it's here, man. It's here, and it's up to the consumer to educate and promote, right? Like,
it's really difficult to create a publicly traded weed company. It's not, and not only is it really difficult to create a publicly traded weed company, it creates what's the goal here? And so like our goal is it's a policy goal of legalization. And so becoming a publicly traded weed company creates impediments to that goal, because you're going to need to beat on earnings for your investors whom you've lost 80% of their money or 90% of their money. So like you've totally eaten shit. You've lost all this money. And now, you have this perverse incentive to prevent medical cannabis from being widely available in your state so that your particular retail location that has that medical license can be extremely more profitable so that you can beat on earnings in that respect. And you're still going to lose on earnings because like it's every state has got its own little fiefdom that you have to do. And then like, people find out that you're trying to zone someplace and open up a weed store, that landlord's going to mess with you. And so like, there's all these things that can go wrong with it. And then, what's the policy goal? People don't care about policy goals. People care only about their pocketbook. People care about like how much money they have. And then there's a lot of what people care about, which is like worse than pocketbooks. And that's like ego and like how cool they are and like how amazing they can be. Those are the people that we don't allow in our company, but we screen for them. However, it's very difficult to be a profitable business in this industry. And then like you have to lobby to change politics, and people don't change politics.
No.
Abortion's still an issue. Marijuana legalization is still an issue. The climate change is still an issue. Nothing gets changed. Nothing gets resolved.
Well, and to that point, I love how you point out though how like you got the big Walmart weed, like the GTI, who are already involved in the market, but then like you're saying, they also have to adhere to their investor group, right? Their whole purpose is to make money more, not stabilize. And so what part of that is, that's why the pivot, right, to hemp, right? It's an easy jump to say CBD infused drinks, but you don't care about the policy to enable the end consumer. I mean, you're not trying to like help. Like
Philip Morris doesn't care about the person smoking cigarettes. Philip Morris cares about its share price.
Yeah,
I care about my share price, but then like it's one of those things where I care about the share price, and I want to double revenue, but I'm pragmatic with how the revenue doubling works and like what streams of commerce we can use to get to that point. Trying to just say that you're a weed company is extremely dangerous in the sense that you're in a political industry. You're in an industry that's highly regulated. You're in an industry that you can just ignore and say like it's hemp and pretend like marijuana is not a thing and sell worse crap into it. And then at its core, you're a beer company. Like nobody is really you can make a living. You can have like a good small business as a brewer. Yeah. I mean, like we had hundreds and thousands of breweries throughout the United States. But then of course with consolidation, there's like 4. Miller Coors, Budweiser, Yuengling. And Budweiser and Yuengling might be the same company for all I know.
Yeah, I mean, the big dollar is scooping up, and also it's kind of like the cookies thing, right? Where the cookies you buy on one side is not going to be in another state because of the 50 different.
Cookies is just like cookies has got like the most fraud against it, and that's not cookies. It's people will copy cookies, and so like I went to the gym, and there was a Mylar bag of gumbo that had like a cookies logo on it, and it was gumbo, and it said it was from like California weed. It's just some illegal eighth that somebody's selling. You don't even know if it's gumbo, and they're using it because like nobody gets busted for weed anymore, really. Like the raids aren't what they were 30 years ago. I'm not saying they should be, but the audits, should be like, if you're trying to have it be legalized, we need to get it out of Schedule 1. Yeah. And then like, is this plant beer or is this plant Advil? Like, is this a drug or not? Well,
why can't it be both? Right. Like right now, part of the conversation is being driven by ignorance, right? Like where Texas is a great example because somebody here commented that Texas is a huge market for THCA, right? And they're saying how cannabis business are mad, but even with Texas's medical rule, it's hemp, right? Like Texas only allowed hemp to be their medical barrier, which
Low
is
THC. Yeah.
so bad though for the consumer and the plant and the, there's now they have these wild. So people, I hear so many stories from Texas that people are like, oh man, I didn't know it was like this, where there are pop-ups everywhere. There's, like more than Starbucks or whatever. But
no, there's it's like over 8,000 units. Like, and so there's like thousands of retail locations, and they should all be shut down. Because if they're all shut down, because all they're doing is selling weed and calling it THCA hemp, or they're selling weed and calling it hemp, then you have this huge multi-billion-dollar groundswell of political capital that needs to go to Austin, Texas, and change the effing law, because their medical law sucks. Their medical law is hemp how it was 6 years ago, back in 2019, when it was legalized, and it was just supposed to be CBD, and CBG came after CBD, like in 2020 and stuff. And so, like, the non-psychoactive cannabis plant, that's the CUP program, the compassionate use program in Texas, still waiting since April 28th of 2023. When that application window closed. Like, that application window, when I was like talking to people that wanted to actually apply, I would tell them it's going to be $500,000. You're going to need $200,000 of just bleed money. You're going to need a whole bunch of money just for like lawyers. And then you're going to need a couple $100,000 to do an amazing application, which may or may not be graded. And they have not been graded. And so, like, no, I mean, like, when you tell somebody that to get into Texas, they aren't going to hire you. Well, was I wrong? No. No,
and they're a prime example of how, like, regionally they're losing out on taxes. They're losing out on real. The consumer's losing out for just quality weed. Where if they just can fix the rules to have naturally grown cannabis, and then turn gas station weed back, I know this is an ever shaping regulation type issue. And one of the, some people are doing it right. Some people are looking at it from an adult perspective, not Washington State, where I can still only buy an ounce, right? In Oregon, they doubled their limits 3 years ago, I think, or 2 years ago. But at the same time, go ahead.
Possession limits, I would say purchase limits make sense so that the supply doesn't get messed up. If you're really doing a track and trace type of thing, so you're actually controlling supply, then purchase limits make sense. But if you have a federally legal system, Schedule 3, federally legal medical cannabis, and we can put in an order at our location that's licensed and it's registered with the DEA, so it's licensed, and that person we put in the order with from the grower that's in Humboldt County or in Seattle, and they're registered with the DEA too, they can track and they can trace that shipment into our units, just like they do with their wine. There's Washington wine, there's California wine. That kind of aspect of it, that balances the market so much. And so that price compression that's out there, those limited markets, a lot of the publicly traded companies, like I said, you shouldn't have gotten publicly traded. That was stupid. But a lot of those publicly traded companies, they target the limited states. And I understand, like, every state's limited because you don't get a license unless the municipality says you can be there. And so having an interstate market price for cannabis, just like it's frozen orange juice futures, like having a market price for cannabis, like if I go buy my particular brand of unsweetened organic soy milk in Seattle, Washington, I'll probably expect to pay like an extra $1 because it's more expensive to live in Seattle, Washington than Peoria, Illinois. That's it. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, I didn't even understand this brand. Those types of things, that's what we want. That's why I want hemp to go away, to go back to being rope, so that we can go back to legalizing marijuana, renaming it from being marijuana. It shouldn't be called marijuana, and then having a nationwide market. So all these people, these thousands, tens of thousands of people that are on a license can actually have rules of the game to play. That's when you're going to get publicly traded companies. You're not going to get those in this chicanery that we have right now, where all the operators that are publicly traded really only play because they're in a limited state. You know?
No, there's, and that's the thing, right? Like with the brewery thing, where each state has like their own. They are a brewery, but part of like how you're advocating and talking about legalization, as far as the infrastructure, right? The person that goes into the front door, walks through, shows their ID, and then makes that purchase. They don't care how it got to your registrations. They don't care about your licensing fees. What they just care about is the tax involved with the product they're buying, and then walk out the door, right? And that's a necessity that we're gonna need for real regulation. But back to like where the amounts though, I don't agree where it's like it should be like a market thing, because presently in this 50 state individual thing, the reason why you have limits is diversion, right? They don't want you to sell to Kentucky. They don't want you to sell to wherever else is no bueno. But there are real grown-ups in the room doing things. Are you familiar with ASTM?
Oh yeah, the American Standards of Information and Technology.
Yeah.
ASTM, isn't it? Is it
No,
just ASTM, or is it ASITM or something like that?
No, just ASTM. You were close. I forget what the R, but as far as the whole acronym, but you're familiar with it. It's all part of like just the backbone of our world, right? Like that's what I do for a living, but for like antennas and RF and stuff. But they have a conference coming up on 420 of all days. So like if you're into the nerdy side of things, right? Like I'm gonna I might start investing, especially us having a store and being actually involved now. Like I mean, you've always been involved in the industry when it comes to like the practices of the licenses and markets. Where we're actually gonna have a store, and I would really like to be more involved in like a good regulation, right? There's seed to sell, I think, is dumb because it's back to diversion, but it is important for the store and for the grower, right? Because nobody wants to willy-nilly know how much shit they got grown and then just like, that's loss. That's just what it is. No, you need to know, because the whole point is you need to make money so you can pay your employees, keep the lights on. You know, it's an agreed thing that you're marketing up. You know, that's unfortunate. Like no one cares though at the end. They just want to pay an X amount, right? There's going to be taxes involved. There's going to be licenses. It's been 2 years already. Nobody cares about that. You know, they just care when they see the doors open and be like, all right, now what are we doing? And that's just part of it. That's just the boringness of the business and regulation. But this one coming up here, you can register now at ASTM for their conference on overcoming barriers to entry in cannabis and hemp industries. Views from around the world. I thought about like submitting for like our process, like how it's just time but the thing is, to me, I think
no, it's the ASTM. It's the American Society for Testing Materials, and here's like barriers of entry. Here's $300,000 in cash, and then like I'm not kidding. Like,
no, you're right, 100% right.
Literally, like, and we are a social equity, and like if I wasn't able to be like, here's $300,000 in cash, even with the license, we'd have to sell it to somebody else. Yeah,
and again, we've been on a roller coaster, and we still are. You know, how many times have we thought about like, is this something that we're going to pursue? Do we want quick money? Right? Have a fucking job is what it comes down to. Already do something that you love and maintain. And then if you see an opportunity, that's what this was an opportunity that was just a lottery. We won a ticket. It's a chance. It's not even a guarantee, right? Like we didn't think about being a brand ahead of time. Like, like the cookies, metaphor still. It's like, that's still like something you can look at and be like, but that's not us. We're actually people who really just love the weed. Good on Burner for making his bag, but like, it's still, it's just corporate shit. Like we're about to be part of a corporate thing that's going to be sustaining, right? It's the whole point of work and doing things is to,
Yeah, and so we will do videos about how share prices for stocks work, and so like that's really what it's about is share prices for stocks. But then it's you're running a business about something that you believe in, and so like, but you're running a business, and so but it's about something you believe in, and so you have culture in the business that reflects how you and what you believe in. To it's also a marketing aspect of it, because now your culture is being inculcated into like why you're running a business, and that gets into what they call brand, which is a fairly loose concept, trying to like nail an egg to the wall, and so but then there's how share prices work, and share prices, they work a very specific way, and that's like DCF, and then there's DCF with like a discount ratio, and so the discount ratio that we usually apply is 18%.
Well, you're talking about posts like
what's discount ratio, and so like, and that's the thing though. We are now in a business where you have to understand this is how business works, but then this is the business you're in, and this business has aspects to it that aren't traditional. Like we just aren't making cigarettes here, bro, and so like we aren't just trying or chalupas. We just aren't trying to sell as much crap down your gullet or to your detriment. Like we have to work toward changing laws as part of our brand, but we still have to look at the P&Ls and how the share prices work as a business, so that we can continue to grow toward that mission, which is much more noble. And that's one of the reasons why I want us to diversify into software. Because software, it's do you know how many retail locations there are? There's 15, 20,000 cannabis retail locations, but there are millions of retail locations. How do people run their companies? We've done a very good job of literally being in the middle of nowhere, Peoria, Illinois, and then making this over the past few years to run companies. Us being able to do that and then abstract it into another service offering is just smart for the company, because then we aren't completely hedged into one market type. It's like you don't just buy gold, you don't just buy Bitcoin, you have a diversified basket, so that by having more offerings besides just the dispensary, but the dispensary is extremely important because it has a lot of data that we can use, that we can then abstract and create more solutions for other people that need those too.
Well, the dispensary is going to be a basis for the revenue generator. And again, with the change in the laws, one of the laws you guys have in Illinois that's still structuring is events, right? Like that's one of the things you guys have. I know people are championing it for right now. Did you see the story out of San Diego?
No.
I got a video. Check this out. Let's see. I already muted everything. You can add it to the screen when you're ready. I don't want to
I got another.
No,
here in San Diego. Today, they have made history and broken the glass ceiling. The city of Vista is the first in the county to ever host a licensed cannabis event on public property. There's never been an event like this before where people can buy it and enjoy it all out in the open. ABC 10 News reporter Danny Miskell rolled up to the Moonlight Amphitheater to check it out.
The first ever licensed and legal cannabis event inside Vista.
The Farmers Cup blazing a trail here in San Diego County on Saturday.
This is a really great event for San Diego County.
I can't wait to try all the new products that are coming out.
The event features reggae-style bands, cannabis competitions, and vendors from all over who sell cannabis products, including Coastal Sun from Santa Cruz, California.
It's hard to believe this is the first event in San Diego County. I feel like the people really love cannabis. They love the healing properties of it.
Even locals who live right here in Vista, like Raider Randy, says he's had high hopes for the Farmers Cup to happen.
I mean, we never thought that we're going to pull this off, but Glad we did. Love this guy.
Here's the man that sparked the idea for the Farmer's Cup back in 2014, Joshua Caruso. He says it was a joint venture making the Farmer's Cup possible.
We saw a big need for the community to get together. The people want this. We voted for this back in 2018, even before that in 1996.
And the city to end an era of prohibition, the city of Vista, known to be cannabis friendly since 2018, when Measure Z passed, allowing legal dispensaries to open up shop. The Farmer's Cup was the next big thing to come.
Joshua also tells me that one of the biggest sticking points for the city of Vista to welcome a cannabis event like this is because of the tax revenue that the cannabis industry generates here in the city. He says last year alone, the city made around $7 million from the cannabis industry. And he also says that money goes back into local law enforcement and even towards student scholarships.
Joshua says 3,000 people bought tickets for this event. He hopes that it will not only return next year, but that it will continue to grow and even possibly move to a new city in San Diego.
There is a very deep cannabis culture here in San Diego.
In Vista, Danny Miskold, ABC 10 News.
Getting there, man.
Got to give a shout out to Western North Carolina. Western North Carolina, I give Rod Kida a lot of shit because he hasn't legalized marijuana in that city, that state. But then that's where they have an amazing culture in Western North Carolina, and that's also where all the THC flowers being grown on hemp license. And then also, if you haven't subscribed to Chad, again, people will call me a Chad because
you're white.
I talk about because I'm white and I understand how stocks are priced. But
I don't think you're a Chad like that, dude. You're just like Rain Man. I love it though. It's sexy,
I'm
nerdy
not
shit.
Rain Man. It's it's one of those things where
I'm Rain Man too, though.
Tend to be really, really the people that tend to be really, really wealthy are usually they're quite intelligent and they have a lot of things that they can do. But either way, it doesn't matter. The more important thing is that you guys are here joining us and tuning into Cannabis Legalization News because you want to see cannabis get legalized. So do we. One of the things that when Miggy and I get our shop going, we want to be able to make a lot more content about how you can legalize it in your state, your hometown, and then of course national. We have to do it. We want to do it medically first because you can't flip over a car. First you have to get your friends together and get it on its side. And so that's what the medical aspect of it is. And if you want, every time we go live, we send out an email. And that email you can get right there. An email came out today before our episode. And I have another episode that I was going to record yesterday, but I forgot my mic yesterday. So I will record it tomorrow. And then I have a few other episodes that are already scripted. I've been quite busy at the mill, I guess we can call it, being a lawyer or being a consultant. Minnesota's closed. It closed we were done by Wednesday. Other people, they had some software issues because you're not supposed to close. You're not supposed to apply on the last day when a license window closes. A lot of people did. Their server melted down. They got an extra day to apply. They also had an interesting thing where if you weren't social equity, they would try to eject one of your exhibits so that you wouldn't be able to apply. Weird, but that's how it is in this industry. And so tune in. We got zoned. Now we have to lock up the property, and maybe if we do that, one of our soon episodes will have me at the location. I could probably do it. I could rig it up. Got to get access and close on it first. But we want to thank everybody that's been around. And so now that I've gotten that done, especially after I close on the property, then we're going to do because I used to write books. That's how Miggy and I met. We should now do the book about how to open a cannabis dispensary in a highly regulated state without being excruciatingly wealthy.
And again, we're walking the talk, right? It's not like I think this is what our issue with the influencer thing, right? Like with the whole alpha thing. Hey, you want to be a man? That's not how it fucking works. Like none of this. Like anything you want to accomplish, that it's fucking hard. Like, and then even then, we're not even there yet, right? Like, let's. It's a process, and you're part of it by hanging out with us, and we appreciate you. And it's all self-funded. This message brought to you by us. That's it.
This message is brought to you by our ass.
Yes,
that's right, because our ass has been paying for this shit, and working on it. But we will have offerings. The problem is, if you have an offering too quickly, that offering could take you. And so, and then cannabis has been the worst industry to give an offer. This isn't AI. That's one of the reasons why the first thing we're doing is developing AI, so that we're not cannabis anymore. And our PLs, and not our PLs, but our PE ratios, or the reason for our valuation will be substantially higher than Cresco's, because they have a lot of licenses, which are liabilities, and we'd have a lot of IP. And then there's synergies between us and a Cresco, or even GTI, but still,
hey,
I already shit on. And I think he's great. I think the owner, I think the CEO, I think Ben Clover, loves the Grateful Dead. So do I. But shit, dude, you were born into Jack Daniel's fortune. My family said, "What the hell are you doing?"
Oh, dude. I mean, like this whole thing's crazy what we're trying to do, but I think it'll be good. I mean, because there's people, there's numbers, there's all that other bullshit out there. But I totally had a thing that I was gonna say, dude, and then zoned out.
You know what you need to do?
Okay.
You need to meditate more.
Oh shit! No, dude, that was fun though. A half hour just by myself and hang out with these people. It was awesome.
Isn't it hard? It's really difficult to be live to hundreds of people by yourself.
Yeah. No, well, it doesn't help when you have stage fright.
Without a script, by the way.
Thank you.
It is without a script, and that's why. I will have a video. The video's good. The video is about how you legalize it, and your government don't care. And so, it covers. It starts with Arizona in 1997, goes all the way up to Ohio in 2025, because they still do it. Just because you legalize it doesn't, it's a political issue, doesn't mean that it's going to all be hunky dory. Your elected officials may still try to fuck with you. And so, we cover Arizona, we cover North Carolina. No, we don't cover North Carolina. We cover Arizona. We cover North Dakota. Is that where Nome is? I think that's where Nome is. Or South Dakota, one of the Dakotas. We cover Virginia, we cover Ohio, we cover Mississippi, all the states that after it's been legalized, they go Florida. We do Florida twice. They did that twice.
Well, again, it's all different in every state. We need that federal stability, which, like you're saying, I couldn't imagine being a public traded company at this point with so much volatility. That's the word.
No, it's one of those. If I was Apple Computers, I would buy the publicly traded cannabis companies for a loss. So I would have to pay less taxes, and then I would still own it. But then there's a lot of data in there. Green Thumb Industries has 103 dispensaries. Well, that's cool. Well, if we get 103 dispensaries under management through our AI software for managing those things, and then there's APIs based on the providers that we can have, and so we're gonna have to go through, is FlowHub the best, is Kova the best, and work, and unfortunately, because I'm a pretty excruciating nerd, I will go through and I will look at their APIs, and then I'll look at what we're trying to build, and I'll be like, nope, this is not the one for us. But then I will also look at whether or not you're going to crash on us on 420, and so we're not going to go with Dutchie. Sorry, Dutchie. Yeah.
What again? You never got back to me on what you thought about Bloomingdale's.
The name of it?
Yeah, I think we should call it Blooming and then Dale's, right?
No.
And then play off the word.
No. There's two reasons why not. First, that may get us a dunning letter from whoever owns Bloomingdale's IP, and then second, that means nothing for the community.
Oh, you're saying about bloomery, right? No.
Blooms blooms is a noun and a verb, and it's a verb that's aspirational. And so, if you name it after the name of the community and it blooms, you're actually helping the community grow. And so like that's the conveyance that your name would then give. And so the Bloomingdale's, now you're giving a name and conveyance of a different store, which is not like anywhere within the next 200 miles. And then also may have somebody who owns the IP that sends you a dunning letter that says, stop doing this. So like, no. Yeah.
This is why you need a lawyer as a friend, because he knows where like.
Look, this is why like, if you've won a cannabis license and your social equity, and this is your first business, get an entrepreneur. Like, maybe you're not an entrepreneur. Nope. You're not.
Oh, I know it. Shit. I'm a worker bee, baby.
I've been an entrepreneur for a while. Yeah, I am not a worker bee. I am why don't we be working on that over there? And so, there's just different skill sets. And so that's just how it is.
I understand. Gotta know your lane. And I think that's why this store will be a good thing for, like, I can, we both are going to have our roles. And,
yep.
And then from there, we hope to share with you.
It's a company. It's not a store. The store is one of, there's currently like 4 business units that comprise the company. The store is one of them.
That's all good. I'm here for it.
Right on, bro.
Yeah, man.
Hey, do we want to like give any shout outs to people that are awesome? Shout out to Will on the back end, just helping us out, making us look good.
This guy.
Shout out to Matt. Became a YouTube member. Really appreciate that. We need to like lean into the super chats more to like get more participatory with them. It was a slow week for like real cannabis news, but I didn't get to make any YouTube, so I'm kind of glad that we were able to touch base.
No, this hemp thing's totally gonna just delay. It's gonna be delay. It's like
I think it's gone. I think the farm bill's happening this year, and it's gonna kill hemp because like what's been happening. Like that was a lot of the articles this week. It's been a lot of the articles since Donald Trump has become the president. All about how like marijuana legalization sucks and like all of these problems of like marijuana, like how bad it is for you. And that's natural weed. That's not weed that you take CBD isolate and like do chemistry to, or weed. And then how weed works. So you just say that it's not marijuana, it's THCA flower, and that's the issue. And so like the definition of hemp under the Farm Bill, and then the USDA leader saying that they're delivering the Farm Bill this year, they're not going to strike out for the 3rd year in a row. It's over. Like it's not over for us because I think we're going to get Schedule 3, but for hemp that gets you high, like make hemp rope again. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Hey, I'm so stoked right now. I just realized that Chad's in the chat. I talked about earlier about popping beans, right? So, hey, Chad, if this accidentally fell on a plate in a paper towel and it was wet, like what time of the year should I do that? Would it be April you would do it, or would you do it now? Like for it to like go outside. I'm so excited to have like the actual guy, like the Washington guy. So Farmer Tom hit me up.
Right.
What's that?
You're near Seattle, aren't you?
No, well, so Farmer Tom hit me up. He thought I was sprouting seeds now, and I was like, no. I'm just gonna maybe eventually do something, but like you have to time it the weather here.
Card first. You get your medical card, and then you'll sprout the seeds.
I just saw a doctor here locally, a script thingy that I'm gonna hit up. I am actually because like I'm curious too, like how that's still so. Medical is the thing that strengthens the law here, right?
That's
the cannabis law.
My plants. I'm not worried about my plants and like any because like we got haters. Miggy and I got haters, people. We do. Yeah. And you want to know who's to blame for that?
Sweet.
This guy right here. And so like I have a medical card. I have 3 plants in there. I don't know how many are female. And so like that whole plant aspect of it, and then the flowering aspect of it. And so there's ways. And so this just gets back to, we have a lot of actual law to make. And so we can't be focused on how a loophole has magically fixed everything, because it didn't do shit.
No.
You're still getting the only thing that loophole did was make a huge risk of entrapment because you think that you're okay and you're not okay. And so, like, you know, we got to change these laws. And I'm upset that, you know, adult use grow did not work in Washington State. It got bounced again this year. But like medical is okay. Like in Illinois, it's the same thing. We only have 5 plants for a medical patient.
But again,
you know, like you can have be in plants then.
But see, people still confuse things though. Medical is not a fucking rule. Medical is an affirmative defense. We're just the police, right? Like I can still get fired for whatever, you know, testing hot for whatever, right? Any moment. If it was mandated upon me to pee tomorrow, I'm done. I would be like, yo, I don't even gonna try. You know, I'm just.
Guys, I think I left my car open. I'll be right back. It's gone, yeah.
But like that's the problem with like what we have now. You know, I'm fortunate enough to live in a state and do a thing and have an existence that, like, you know, I've you know, avoided going to doctors when I got hurt. You know, you do things that you have to do where the law is not right still, but some federal mandates would be pretty awesome.
You know, I want to bring like medical to Indiana. I want to bring medical to all the trigger law states, and that's why we were advocating for Schedule 3. Like you don't like the hemp was not the play. Like, you know, when it comes down to jiu-jitsu of legalization, we've lost 5 years because they thought it was
100%.
their lane to do it, as opposed to really zoning in on how it's medical. But whatever, we will continue this next week. I don't think next week, Miggy, are you going to be here or are you going to be on vacation?
I'll be in Mexico, but I still want to hang out with my 175 closest friends.
All right. We'll make sure.
I mean, I should provide the Wi-Fi is good. I mean, I imagine where we're staying is gonna be decent enough for me. Like I always do. You know, I like having that information and sharing and educating.
That's not legal. But then that guy would just want to give him this. That's not legal. You're not allowed to do that. Just so like, here's how you do it. Then if you don't want to do it because you're not gonna look, I'm not telling you how to do this. I'm not telling you how to do this. I'm not. Look, this is not advice. You know, for the love of God, like I am not answering that question down there. I just want you to know that I am helping you understand and appreciate the. Hang on. Okay, take that off in 2 seconds, Will, so that people can read it. All right, and so I want you to understand and appreciate the ramifications of that. You give somebody stuff, you have liability. If you're working on stuff, you put it out, and then you have to go to the bathroom and forget what you're doing, and it's gone. That is a different set of facts. And I want you to know that.
It's like when people would buy $30 T-shirts or stickers in DC. I love that.
Even less incriminating. It's even less incriminating.
That's true, huh?
Because in that, like, you were literally selling a $30 sticker. Here, you were working on something, you went in the bathroom and forgot what you were doing, and it was gone.
True. And you didn't question it. You didn't worry about it.
Yeah. It's like, oh,
that's true.
It'll be all right. Yeah. And so and then if somebody left like $30 under a rock, and you're like, oh, shit, that thing's gone. It's $30 under a rock. You're gonna go take a nap. You know, like,
God is good.
Where's the mens rea? Where is the malicious intent? Or where's the actual intent? Where it's like, I wasn't trying to do that at all.
Yeah.
You know, but I am not a criminal lawyer, and I am not giving you advice.
No, Tom is not a law lawyer, right? Or fuck, dude,
no.
criminal law.
Yeah.
That's
and
the word.
If we were discussing the share price and the what is a fair takeout purchase and like waterfall ladders and all this other stuff for like really, really high end crap, and I could charge like $500 an hour for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and I want to do like a YouTube about that, but the problem is like, okay, like 1 out of like not 9, 8, 7, like one out of 7 people, and especially when you say 1 out of 7.5 people. Yeah, that half a person that I saw over there. But like it's only about like 16 to 18% of the population is an actual entrepreneur. And so that's the only ones that it matters for you to talk about, like how share prices work and stuff, and like how you can structure deals for like buying and selling of companies, because like now you're just talking to like 1 in 7.5 people, and then out of that it's still like the next 30, 50, 80% of that, and so it's really only like 1 in 20 people may have a company that needs to understand how it's valued so that it can transfer it before the next generation fucks it over, or like before somebody else tries to screw it up. Yeah.
I think you should do that, man. Find your tribe, right? Like that's kind of why we do this. We're trying to like change the rules, and we just happen to.
They're in the back. Like that's the thing is, we will get more of those in the back, and then the company will have a share price. But we're not going to do what MedMen did.
Oh, no. I'm definitely not going to be jumping on any wagon like that. No,
that was just...
that was bad. So bad. And then the guy tried to get into... It's like
to provide for my family for years. They didn't.
I don't want to be the Fire Island of weed. Right, it's like the Dan Bilzerian of weed, like that.
That's not going to happen. No, because I'm running it, and so like we're not doing that. Yeah.
Well, we don't want to play our numbers.
Pitch me like it's like here's how like somebody that was like this is very valuable. Here's how it works. I'm like, go on. Let me see your charts. Tell me about that TAM. And how are you going to like achieve this? Yeah, okay. But like with them, it was completely different. And so like with them, it was, strippers, and then also really, really sexy real estate and things that look neat, and then like getting a lot of media buys that made it appear that they were going to do it right. But it was also, there's right place, right time. And so they were right place, wrong. Well, they were right time, like wrong place, I guess, because at the right time there, they were able to get like sky high valuations, but then 24 months later, they were worth nothing. And so it was a very dynamic industry, and they had no revenues. And so that's one of those things where who do these people know that have stupid money, like have like just billions of dollars, and they're dumb, and they just sign the check. And so it's as easy to get somebody to sign a check to you for $1,000 as for $100 million.
Sure.
So why aren't you working on signing the checks that are $100 million? And that's a legit business strategy. It really, really is. They sell expensive shit to rich people. It is literally a thing. And so, and we do that. But it's one of those where you were hot at that time. And so it would have been like, it's the AOL Time Warner. And so like MedMen was like the AOL Time Warner merger.
Yeah.
And so that it was just big. It was at that time, it was highly valued. And then it completely died because that was at the top, and that was, and the management was shit, and the management's still shit. Like, I don't think that, like, I would love to talk to that guy from MedMen, but I don't trust him to run like, a fried chicken shack. I don't trust him to run like, an ice cream shack. But, maybe he can. I don't think he can.
Well, I think some of these cases, again, we don't know what the real numbers are, right? But I even thought about, well, maybe he was good at like just a small store, and then when it became a chain, that was the issue. Who knows? I don't know.
Right place, right time. Like, it was just hype. Like, he just was able to, 2018 was smoking hot. It was smoking hot. And so he was able to get like the dumb money. And so some billionaires that wanted to get exposure to cannabis because they thought their billions of dollars would grow, bought in, and he was like textbook stupid is like so harsh, but at the same time, like, if you want to see textbook stupid, like, review MedMen.
Yeah. And also RIP High Times.
It's textbook stupid. If you want to see them as well, like, we like maybe like nobody would watch that video. Like the next video that I'm doing is like way more appealing. And so I try to do videos that are more appealing because we have the like we don't smoke on and it's about policy, but it's also about cannabis, and like we're not 20. So we have a lot of negative algorithmic aspects for us to go viral.
Yeah.
But if that's something that our audience wants to see, and typically our audience, they tell us what they want to see. It's news and it's information about legalization. Yeah,
I think so. I think it's why people watch us here. And that's where me trying to mess with my own thing. It's not even. It's more of a workout nowadays. It's like random.
Is it hard to like
every day just to think of 10 things or 10 minutes of stuff just to. Like, but it's good though for me because I think every day I'm trying to do something, right? Like I try and motivate, right? We try to lead by example. Where, I'm on day 400 and something with Duolingo, and so my Spanish is getting this much better. So,
puedes hablar español.
Un poco, but that's what it's about. Yeah.
Puedes hablar español muy bien.
Well, don't you speak French? I thought you spoke French.
Yo confiaré en ti, like I believe in you. ¿Cómo se dice I believe in you en español? Yo no sé.
Please help me, Mexico. But see, so let's
ayúdame, Mexicano.
Here's the thing though. So straight sobriety now. Straight back to our license. Back to
Derecho. Ahora.
But no, you're good. But like back to me being a minority, right? Like this is part of like the American conversation, right? Where what people would call a no sabo kid. Like there's a whole group of people who are as dark as me, if not dark. Like it's funny where people assume it's kind of racist. They think I speak Spanish right away, but like it's another. I have that advantage where I have bad hearing too, so it's like really hard. But like I'm trying. Oh, Brendo, I'm learning. So hey, it's been good. We've been at this motherfucker for an hour and a half, man.
Yeah, let's give us some notes. No manches se patan.
You will not pass. No.
We don't know, and so like that's the thing. Our financial models got fucked right when we were getting zoned. And so now we have a lawsuit, or we're going to close for cash.
Wow, it's again the process. We don't. Nothing's been set since then. We're not there. We're not. Yep. Yeah, this is. You get yanked around. Sometimes for good, sometimes for bad.
Yep. And that's it's like here's a pile of money. I don't know about that.
We want more, or something. I don't know. It's unfortunate, but.
Hey,
it's part.
Let's wrap it up.
Yeah. No, I'm down. I'm just kind of like zoning out now. Thanks for hanging with us, everybody.
Do it. Nail it.
Trying to work out this fade, but no, you know what? Because get that QR code, hit that fucking wherever it's at,
and then QR code.
Wherever that's at. Let's just get the fuck out.
Turn Miggy's head into a QR code.
Oh, it'd be dope. Oh, AI, that'd be fucking dope. There you go.
Okay.
Click that shit.
QR code over there. The QR code right there will get you our newsletter. It already went out. It went out to about 17,000 strong, and we want more people to get in the QR code so that we can continue to help. We've helped hundreds of licenses become a thing, and we want to help hundreds of more. But we're trying to legalize it federally, and if you are, we're really stoked to have you. Don't forget to smash those likes, click subscribe, and if you want to help us out more, join us as a membership. You'll get early access to all the videos that we do, and once we got this project locked up for our dispensary, there's going to be tons of dispensary contact that'll be dripping early for you, and then you get your name in the credits.
Hey man, just thanks for joining our journey.
Right on.